Have you tried introducing a friend to Valorant recently? Because I have, and you load in, they pick an agent, and then the questions start.
Let's go.
Why can she dash off the shooting? What does that do? Wait, I have to buy abilities too? And somewhere between explaining smokes, rotates, and the 26th agent with an invisibility mechanic and an alternate dimension, you start wondering, when did learning Valorant start feeling like preparing for a final exam? This video isn't about whether Valorant is a good game, because I think it is. It's about what happens when complexity turns into chaos, and why Riot's smartest move might not be to slow down, but to incentivize the way that we learn. And importantly, what would you do if you were in charge of Valorant? So let's break it down. Every competitive game has a learning curve. You expect to start bad, get better, and eventually you get to master it if you're lucky enough. But learning curve creep is different. It's when the amount you have to learn grows faster than the time you have to learn it. Every new agent Riot releases adds another chunk of mechanics, matchups, map interactions, and niche tricks. The curve doesn't just rise, it stretches longer and steeper. So here's the big question. At what point does complexity stop being engaging and start being exclusionary? Put yourself in Riot's shoes. You run a live service game. That means releasing content regularly. New agents, new maps, cinematics, battle passes, skins, the whole shebang. That's what keeps players logging in, right? But with every new agent, the pressure on players doesn't just increase, it multiplies. You're not just learning one new kit, you're learning how every other agent interacts with that kit. Do you stop adding content? No. That would kill the engagement cycle. The game would feel stale. But if you keep adding more, who exactly are you building the game for? Veterans, pros, or the people that you want to bring in? Let's think back now to your first week playing Valorant. What was the hardest part? Learning recoil? Getting one-tapped?
No, the jet.
Understanding the economy?
I don't know how to manage it.
Oh, we got another financial crisis.
Now, imagine all of this, but with double the agents, more complex abilities, and a community that just expects you to know these things.
A raise is forcing raise. You're gonna get at least 3 or what?
And I think here's the kicker. You don't start with all the agents unlocked. You earn kingdom credits slowly through play, and you're forced to choose. Who do I unlock first? Who's even worth learning? Most people I know go on visual appeal of characters rather than who they think might be fun or suit their playstyle. And there's no clear answer. And I think that's where the overwhelm really begins. Because Valorant isn't a game about choice anymore. It's a game about guessing what you should care about. But I don't want to be truly just unfair to Riot. They have done a few things to help. They removed agent contracts and added kingdom credits. They slightly simplified onboarding, and they give you some starter agents. But none of that really addresses the real issue. The pressure to understand every agent, every ability, every counterplay. Some people have suggested rotating agent pools. Others want bans in ranked. A few think Riot should just stop adding agents. But all of these solutions are restrictions, and I think restrictions tend to backfire. So what if we tried something a little bit different? Here's my idea. Every 2 weeks, Riot picks 5 to 6 spotlight agents. You play those agents, you get bonus kingdom credits, battle pass XP, or even unique cosmetics. Simple. No locking, no punishment, just positive reinforcement. Let's break it down a little bit. So, for new players, it gives a clear starting point. Here are some agents that are worth learning right now. For returning players, it's a reason to try someone who perhaps they haven't tried before. And for competitive players, it's a way to shake up the meta without bans or nerfs. The incentives don't have to be huge, just enough to nudge the player in the right direction. You wouldn't have to play these agents but they'd give you a reason to want to. It's not just about spam picking a character and throwing around. The system needs to reward intentional play. Imagine you're trying out Fade for the first time. You hit a few haunts, you get a pick with your Cs, and suddenly you're progressing faster because you're learning. That's what this system is about. Not forcing players to learn, but making learning feel worth it. But I have to be realistic, there are risks involved with this system. Some people might throw the games with agents they don't know, some players might chase rewards instead of focusing on teamwork, and it could pressure people into uncomfortable picks. But all of that can be tuned. Make rewards performance weighted, not pick based, include multiple agents per role to protect team composition, cap rewards per game per day to avoid spam. Comparing it to the alternative, which is doing nothing and letting the game get more complex and more gate-kept, it's just frustrating. Which one would you prefer? Here's the thing about agent rotation systems. They punish players. You log in to play your main? Too bad, they're not available this week. Or worse, your whole team logs in and all of their characters aren't available this week, so your synergy is just dead in the water. Agent bans, same problem. Restricting choice in a game like Valorant kills creativity. But incentives empower creativity. They encourage experimentation without forcing it. They promote learning without punishing failure. It's not about forcing people to change. It's about giving them a reason to want to change. Now, what happens if Riot ignores the problem of the learning curve? Well, Valorant risks becoming like MOBAs in their worst moments, which is dense, inaccessible, completely balanced around the top 1% of players, and it alienates new or casual players. And a game where understanding the meta is half the battle, we can't afford to keep piling complexity on top of complexity without providing guidance. Because if people stop trying to learn, they stop playing. And that's when good games start to die. So now I'm turning it over to you. If you were Riot, would you slow down agent releases? Would you introduce bans, rotations, tiered matchmaking? Or would you try something like this? Something that doesn't restrict players, but gives them a reason to keep playing. Because here's the truth. Valorant doesn't need to be easier. It just needs to be smarter. And I really believe that together, we could get there. But maybe I've missed something. Maybe your idea is better. So let's talk about it. We've got a Discord server where the conversation's already started. Come hang out, share your thoughts, or just lurk and absorb the chaos. And if you ever need a break from all the sincerity, we've got a TikTok full of bite-sized Valorant takes and straight-up nonsense. I'm also live on Twitch every Wednesday and Friday, so if you want to talk about this live, or just watch me miss my shots, you know where to find me. Drop a comment, share the video,